Hello all, and welcome as usual to Sunday Q&A. I was going to do Saturday Q&A and Sunday Q&A, which meant I would record it on the Friday because B. Carroll says record them ahead of time because that way you can upload them and save the uploading thing. But then I had to have half-hour break and ended up having a chat with a friend of mine from a local firm who apparently knows one of my mates from boxing. And Colin, he's lovely. Hopefully we can do some business in the future. So that went, and then I went to Kirknigle, and I spent 2 hours waiting to get tipped on a Friday afternoon in the rain. And because they took 2 hours, I got home at 8 o'clock rather than maybe what could have been 6:30 with the kibosh in. But hey, that's life in the courier business, isn't it, really? And that's life at Kirknigle. Anyway, here we are, Sunday Q&A. So, firstly, notes on the 7.5 tonne. I've jumped on the 7.5 tonne on the CX. Last week I put out some questions. As usual, you guys have all come to my rescue, and as usual, I will pass it all on. So, firstly, Philip Maud says, do you charge the mileage to the customer? No. That's not the way it works on the CX. We work on the miles from the pickup to the drop-off. So you've got to be wary of how far it's going to take you, how far you're going to go to the customer, and how far you could potentially coming home on dead miles. I know a lot of people have heard these stories. They go, "Oh yeah," but they're you're quoting this much a mile. They're quoting half that, but they're quoting from their base to the customer to the drop off and back to their base. We quote from the pickup to the drop off, but you quote more obviously. Julian Rose says, "If you're ever near Coventry, give me a shout." Julian, thanks very much, mate. Certainly will. Steve R and Perry Bristow says something about something on the back of the back doors. I think we might come to that one. I think we've got an idea what that is. Oh yeah, that was right. Securing the back doors. The 7.5 tonne has got barn doors on the back. And so when you leave them open, they were flapping, and at one stage it could have hit somebody's AMG Mercedes, which would have been clever. And then I've done a video on the curtain side of which will go out. But yeah, I kind of noticed you open the barn door, and then you look underneath, and there's this like metal thing. And I thought, is that something to do with like a spare tyre? Is that to do with like sort of doing exercise? No, it pings up, goes like that, and goes against the barn door. So I now know, thanks to you guys, how to get the barn doors so they don't flap open. We looked at mirrors, didn't we? That was Matthew McGonaghy who said about the barn door lever. Thanks, mate, I did find it. The blind spot mirror apparently is called a Fresnel mirror. And that was, I think Perry Bristow said that one as well. And Paul Davis and Steve Campbell. He said you can get these from eBay or you can get from TUDK Mirrors and Airlines. Well, I've got a Fresnel mirror. In my infinite wisdom, I got one of these. And this is a Fresnel mirror. And this is very handy for, can we see, sort of, I don't know if that works that way. When you need to read things, when you've got bad eyesight, you use the Fresnel mirror. Yeah, I'm now working on the principle that the side of my van has actually got 3 mirrors. A big mirror, a blind spot mirror, and a mirror for seeing the curb. And if I can't see something by the side of my van, I've got to be blind. So I think I've got to, unless I can find a way of getting that stuck on the windscreen. I only wanted a little one, I didn't want it in the way. We might write the Fresnel mirror idea off, but thanks anyway. As far as tyres are concerned, so to find somewhere local at Outsource nationally. Stephen Cam says maybe nationwide. Paul Wilkins says, that's something else. What I did with the tyres on the truck in the end, I phoned a firm that I used to use when I used to have the last 7.5 tonne, when I used to drive Shirley, Nationwide Tyres. They're based in Beds, Herts and Bucks, and they did what I wanted them to say. I got through to them, they were fine. They said if it's a local thing, if it's just a normal change of tyre, we come out, we change it for the right money. If it's a breakdown, we charge the breakdown fee. If it's national out of hours, they said they put it on what they call the IDNT, the Independent National or something like that tyre network. And it's basically probably like the exchange, they'll just get someone who will do the tyre for you. I don't really mind. I'm working on a principle that hopefully I won't pop a tyre that often, and if I do pop a tyre, I will have someone to go out and save me, and it hopefully won't cost me too much money. So I've got the tyre sorted thanks to you guys. Paul Wilkins, he was the guy who said get the Garmin the Garmin truck sat nav, because that works out your drive. That also works out your driving time and your work time directive. I've got an app which I will get around to showing you. It's a really good app. I'm using Road Warrior at the moment. It still hasn't let me down. I'm waiting for it to happen, but it hasn't let me down. Whether it's I'm up north all the time and I'm not going through particularly precarious areas, I don't know. But I've not hit a high bridge yet or anything like that. And that's free. And I've got an app called Taco Master, which cost me a score, and I will do a video about it when I get around to it. In the meantime, back on the tyres, Mark Laughlin said, the Tyre Extensions. I haven't got around to them yet, but he said you buy them on eBay. Having said that, the air pressure in the truck tyres doesn't seem to go down as much as it did on the van tyres. So I've checked it a few times and it's still bang on. I don't quite know how, again, question out to everybody out there, young newbie truck driver, how often should I check the tyre pressure in my truck tyres? What's the best way of doing it? Please leave a comment. I need an education here. And Mark Laughlin said he was running the truck. He said, I once did so many hours, I had to go on holiday because my work time directive was so high. It was a bit like, you have got to stop. Bless you. Fair play to you. Right, I also put one out on the AdBlue. Best place to get AdBlue. We had Lewis Gates and Bob Hope said, become good mates with a mechanic. Get a card. Because, you'll get good rates. And Bob Hope says, he said, if you go to like the Euro car parts people, they give him a very good price. He said it's worth a phone call. And you're right, it probably is. You'd get it at a trade. Robo Keith says Landowner Products do a 220 litre drum for 95 quid. What I've elected to do with the AdBlue, I've got mates around the corner that will supply me at 50p a litre, which is cheap. But I don't want to take the mickey. I don't want to be in there all the time. I'll sort of do it if I'm low. I've got a job. What I've elected to do is every time I hit a motorway pump, as long as the trucks aren't queuing back at the back door, it's about £1 a litre on a motorway pump. It's not dear. If I fill it up, it's like 12 quid. It's just the pain of doing it. I kind of wish the AdBlue tank was bigger. I know it's extra weight on the vehicle, but I just wish I could fill it up once a month or something like that. But I'm just going to have to, every time it gets to about halfway, next time on the motorway services, because I've got the fuel card, I pay cheap on the motorway services, I'm going to stick the AdBlue in now. Right, well, now as moaning truck driver, he says, when you insert, I'm getting the hang of this, when you insert your card, you have 15 hours. I think it's 15 hours 3 times a fortnight, otherwise 13 hours, and 9 hours drive time, which extends to 10 hours twice a week. He said if you mess up, do a printout, write it on the back, do printouts and sign it. And he also says this thing is, they say you need to take 17 minutes, not 15 minutes, 32 minutes, not 30 minutes, or 48-minute breaks, because they don't like that. He said that's nonsense. He says as long as you take the right amount of time, you'll be fine. I'm still overdoing it. I'm still doing 17 minutes, 32 minutes. 2 minutes doesn't hurt me that much. What I tend to do is wait until my break time elapses and then start reprogramming the sat nav. Have a quick swig of my tea, put the radio back on the DAB, and I'm good to go. Just because, but we'll get there. And Matt Hodges says you can't count PO8 as a brake, but it will reset the tacho head. Yeah, that's kind of foxing me a little bit, that one. It's something to do with, but the fact if you're with someone else, you can count PO8 as brake. So this is things that I will do one on driver's time directive, but you guys out there in the vans, there's very little interest. Although it is somewhat perplexing. David Young says, he said, get a contract with a local firm. He says he's on 2 to 3k a week in his truck, and he says, I don't use a CX. He said, but when I did use CX, it's hard to find the money. I've got to say, the money's there on the CX for the trucks. I'm not struggling. There's more jobs than I thought there would be, and we're doing okay. But again, if you could get a contract, that's it. That's you done. High and dry. Got a contract. If you have to come back empty, it doesn't matter because you've got your day's money. But I am the newbie, as always. I am learning. I am taking what you guys tell me what to do and moving forward. Doozer says POAs and brake. Yeah, he says if you're double manned, it was Doozer who said this. If you're double manned, then the 45-minute break does count as a break. Again, I ain't going to be double manned. I'm just going to try and play the game. Godzilla's. How about a run through of what you had to go through and what it cost? Well, there is a video. There's a video of what I actually had to do to get me operators. The CPC training. There's 5 videos of them. You can watch them if you like. They're really boring, but you can watch them if you like. What it cost me. I think the application form was, about 200 quid for the application, £180 to put the advert in a paper, give or take, call it £400. And then another £400 to actually get the licence for 5 years. But that's to rent the licence for 5 years, so that doesn't really count. That's about £80 a year. So to actually get the licence was about, because call it £400 worth of admin, and then £400 every 5 years to keep it. It's not just that though; it's all the other stuff you've got to jump through. It is, it's like it's a circus full of rings, but one step in front of the other. Journey of a million miles. Don't ever do it because it takes too long, because the time will pass anyway. And he also said he got an infringement after he said after talking to me about getting me infringements. He said he walked into the office of red paperwork with red paperwork of death. Sounds yeah. I feel for you, mate. I do. It's just trying to keep inside it. It's not. You don't think you're doing anything wrong. I feel fine. It's okay. Oh God, no. There you go. And Chris Jones says he did exactly what I'm doing. He went from a 7.5 tonne to an 18 tonne, and he says it's a shame we don't live closer because we could do business. You don't know. You don't know. You know, stranger things have happened. We go a long way in transport. Ian Merrick says I'm going up in tonnage while he's going down because Ian is going into a small van. Did one about small vans recently. Nothing wrong with a small van. You know, it's sort of many advantages of a small van, as we discussed. There you go. And he says at this rate you'd end up in one of those heavy choppers. This is something I don't like. This is one of those thoughts that once you guys put a thought in my head, because my transport manager is also a pilot. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll get me class 2. Then maybe I'll go for my class 1. Then maybe I'll learn to fly a plane. For no apparent reason whatsoever. But hey, best game you'll ever play this. Might as well get the most out of it. Hey. And finally on the 7.5 tonne, Stephen Waltham Abbey says he wishes me every success. He's looking going into the exchange. He just needs some dosh. Oh, and he's read my book. Thank you. I hope you liked it. You know, I genuinely do. Mate, one step at a time. You know, maybe small vans way forward, start at the bottom, work your way up. Who knows? Good luck. Anyway, and thank you for reading. Matt's dilemma, we did one on this one. His gold member says you shouldn't be ringing people with jobs if you haven't taken payment. You shouldn't, but it happens all the time. It really is one of those ones where you turn around and your guy rings me up and says, well, okay, get me a price. Put it out on the exchange, get the prices, ring the guy back and go, okay, here's the price. And the guy says yes or no. I reckon that probably happens 33% of the time. The amount of times where people have rung up with a maybe job. And this is why sometimes when you see a job and it disappears and you go, oh, so it's sold cheaper. It hasn't sold cheaper. The thing didn't exist to begin with. So just be careful with that one when you think about it as well. Mark Lackland said he's had it twice where people have done that to him. That was a bit of a killer. And Godzilla says it's the shipper's fault selling jobs they don't have. Best you can do, and actually this is a good bit of advice, if they do send you off on a job, and I've had it before, is where they say, sent you off on a job, I've got there 10 minutes away, they go, oh no, that job's not going ahead now. And you're not far into it, you're not on site, you can't really do it for a cancellation fee. You said, just turn around and say, okay mate, no problem, these things happen, just remember me the next time this quote comes in. They won't, but it's worth saying just on the off chance, you never know, do you? So right, that's it, we're in the miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is both Smithy and Steve Campbell put me straight on. I said I didn't know what cherry is. He said if you run on cherry is red diesel. Wouldn't recommend it. If you run on red diesel, it's cheaper, but red diesel apparently coats the inside of your tank. So even if you run on red diesel once, you think I've got away with that, and then start running on a normal diesel, they can dip you and they can go, no, there's an additive in there. You've been running on red. So I wouldn't. I've got my fuel card. If I don't make enough money on the job to pay for the diesel, something's seriously wrong. Adam Scherz put me straight. He says his short wheelbase carries 2 pallets, a Vauxhall Vivaro. Like I say, it's a general rule of thumb. Short wheelbase 1 pallet, medium wheelbase 2, extra long wheelbase 3, extra long 4, Luton 5, Luton cutsize 6. It's a general rule of thumb. There are specific areas. I think I did one on actual sizes on vans and that. Like the best thing to do is when you actually quote the job, tell them what you're in. That way you can't come unstuck. So, we got the courier. I've written that badly. the courier boys, have you any work in the Midlands? If so, they're happy to help out. We have very few of our own customers. We were working on it. We're up to about 5, and then the lockdown put the kibosh on us. But we're still working on it, and of course now we're at the trucks. But guys, thanks very much. We'll bear you in mind. Musa Shah says, if you could get insurance on a car, would they allow you on the CX? Possibly, but you would be looking at a very limited amount of jobs. I seriously recommend the best thing to do is get yourself a small van, which you could also potentially use as kind of a car. I probably wouldn't go that way. It's not too dear to buy a small van. It's not too dear to have the insurance. That would be the best way to get running, in my opinion. But it's just my opinion. Philip Maud said, can a transit custom go through a 6'6" width restriction? I really hope so. Bearing in mind that Jessica, the Luton, used to go 6'6", admittedly very slowly. Check that mirror, check that mirror. Once she went through twice she went through the one in Watford that smashed the side of the van. And I'm convinced it's 6'4", and I'm semi-tempted to go there, measure it, and apply to Watford Council and say, you broke my van, but life's too short. But yeah, no, on the whole, if you got the transit custom isn't that much wider than the car. If you can't get it through a 6 foot width restriction, mate, you'll get it through. It'll be fine. Just go slowly. Go gingerly. It'll be fine. Steve Campbell. He said you should, because we're going on about this thing about getting a waste license. You can get a lower tier waste license for free. He did a link on one of the, but if you wanted, a way to get rid of rubbish and not have to pay for it, it's the way forward. He said you should be able to get one for a truck. You probably can. But I can just see their faces. If I roll up at the tidy tip in this 7.5 tonne with a curtain side, they're just going to go, nope, no. I mean, at the moment, you have to have a booking to get in anyway. It's going to be, nope, see you later, baked potato. So, yeah. And besides, I'm not going that way. We're kind of going the haulage way. So, I don't want to be picking up rubbish. I just want to get the pallets, forked on, forked off. Not a Kurt Nigel. Not nothing personal. Don't Kurt Nigel for nothing, Kurt Nigel. Got there at 4, leave at 6. I'm in Derby. I want to go home. It's Friday night. It's raining. 5 of us hanging around going, what is going on? One fork truck driver came out, put 2 pallets on the side of a curtain side Luton, disappeared back in, then reappeared in the smoking shed with a can of Red Bull. And we're standing there. I'm not bitter. These things happen in transport. Honestly. Yeah, I'm sure that won't come up again. B. Carroll says, if you're struggling with upload speed, schedule and release, mate, I would. I love to. I should have done the Saturday one on Friday, but it's just finding the time. But you're right. I am now doing Sunday Q&A, and I'll be honest with you, it's 10 to 4 on a Saturday afternoon. I'm hoping by Sunday morning this one will go up. They've got their time. They can upload overnight. I'm sure it's not that busy. Bob Keane. He says, yeah, now listen, they're coming back to the waste licence thing. He said, where are people tipping? He has a long wheelbase and a paid licence, and they won't let him in. I think it's to do with the lockdown. I think everything's gone mad with the lockdown. So certain tidy tips are certain ways. I know that Al, because he's got a waste licence from his old double glazing business, they cleared out his garage, and he could tip, and he was tipping in Milton Keynes way. In my local tip, which is kind of Houghton Regis, they want you to book it in advance and they won't let vans in. I think it depends on the tip. So, guys, if you could leave comments, we could pass it on to Bob. He's a regular subscriber. I would love to enlighten him if I could. TSK is interested in, he said, would it be interested in investing in 2 Luton vans and keeping drivers? Is it a goer? I would say, if you've got your own end user customers, if you're just relying on the CX alone for jobs, it could be tight. You can get jobs, but it depends where you are. You might not get the jobs. You might not get the return jobs. You've got to pay the van. You've got to pay the driver. I would say the way forward is to try to get your own customers that would say, we need 2 Luton drivers every day doing that, and then get on the exchange. But at the end of the day, it's your choice, mate. Nothing comes from nothing, and you don't know unless you get involved. But I think if you actually bought 2 Luton vans, jumped on the exchange, and you'd probably end up just covering your costs a lot of the time. So, but what do I know? I'm still new to this, as I keep saying. James Ritchie. Have I any experience of Shipley or any van? I have no experience of any van. I did Shipley way back in the day when I was a removal guy. They're okay. There's more jobs on the exchange, they're live and the platform is better. Shipley tends to fight against each other. It can be any time. Everybody wants everything done for nothing. In my experience, any van is out there. It might be cheaper, but it has a fraction of the jobs. Again, you guys might have different experiences. I don't really know. I've only ever really done the exchange and then got my own punters as a result. But yeah, have I any experience of it? Not really. So maybe someone else who does this stuff is an opportunity to do yourself your own video channel and educate help the population if you can. It's a good thing to do, I hope. Thomas Devlin, when you do a site, yeah, this was good actually. I did this because I've done one, a second one on curtain sides, learning about different things that people have told me. He said, you're doing that wrong, you're doing that wrong. He said, if you're on a building site or something like that, he says, open both curtains. And this probably stands if you've got a curtain side of van as well. He said he's had fork truck drivers rip through his curtain twice. A Stanley knife will go through them curtains. So I turned around to one of my mates at the local transport firm and I said, should I get some padlocks and stuff like that? He says, absolutely no point. He said, all you do by putting padlocks on your curtain is by advertising that you might have something on board worth nicking, because all they need is standing off and they'll go down the side. It's a bit like I haven't got a locking petrol cap on my fuel cap because I had a pop at it when I had it parked up there before I could even drive it. If you've got a locking petrol cap, what they'll do is they'll just drill a hole in the bottom of the tank. They'll snail nickel your diesel, and at the end of the day, rather than having to replace a fuel cap, you've got to replace the tank. Fuel cap's 50 quid, tank's £180. You might as well just leave the damn thing open and just hope that when they open it up there's nothing in it and they walk away, or park it somewhere where they're not likely to do it. Actually, yeah, by the way, I've been in contact with Darren again, and he's at the fifth wheel driver vlog. The vlog bit's important. If you type in the fifth wheel, nothing happens. It's the fifth wheel vlog. Hopefully I'll be able to do a link for him. And he turned around, he said, he'd give me some advice. He's always giving me advice. He's lovely. And he said, when you park up overnight, because if you have to park at a motorway service station, I've now realised you have to pay. So not only do you pay for the travel lodge, you've also got to pay to park it there. So it's double bubble. He says you end up in an industrial estate. He said, if you pull onto an industrial estate and it's full of trucks, then it's safe. If you pull on, there's no trucks, it's not safe. He said things you learn as you go, but he's got his own vlog out there. Please, have a little look. He's a lovely fella, and he'll tell you the things that I can't. So there we go. Sarah Moss says, on Road Warrior. Right, I'm going to throw this out for you again. This is one there. Is there any way of putting in the stops in rather than one by one? She said, because he's got like 100 stops. And it's really time consuming. Having said that, it's probably better to put them 100 stops in, even if it takes you half an hour, than just go out on the road on the run that they give you, because the run they give you might end you an hour. When I was doing it, they would give it, I remember dropping once and then 2 hours later being back in exactly the same situation, dropping across the road, going, I was here. I could have done that, but I don't think there is. But if anybody knows who's using Road Warrior, is there a quicker way of entering the stops? Then please tell me and I can pass it on to her. That would be great. Maria is starting on the CX, watches the video to pick up tips. Thank you very much. Danny Perkins, he's on the cheapest CX. Hang on, he said, can a friend use his login for details to bid on jobs? No. Now, when I started, and I didn't know, again, still learning, I started working for Tony, and Tony was on the owner driver CX, and he was also getting me to do jobs. There's a couple of problems with this. Firstly, I don't think you're actually technically allowed to do it. So if they find you doing it, they're going to throw you off, which isn't too clever. Secondly, it's a real nightmare because you're trying to do your job and trying to do his job. The best thing to do is to get on small fleet. It's an upgrade. Did you pay more money for it? But on small fleet, you can run up to 10 vans and 10 separate vans, and they'll have their own login details. They'll have their own thing of how they work their way through. That's the way forward. They're clamping down on small fleet. I've been talking to them because I sort of said, do you want me to do some videos on the HX? And if so, it might be nice if someone threw some dough my way. And they kind of went, well, you can do some videos on the HX if you like, and we're looking into it. And to be honest with you, I've had a little look at the HX. That's the haulage exchange. That's the higher thing. Ain't a lot different. There's not really a lot to mention, to be honest with you. But he did also tell me at the same time they're clamping down on the amount of sort of apps you can have. It used to be you could have up to 50, now I think they're bringing it down to 10 because a lot of people have been running vans and it's becoming unstuck. So it's something that I started to do in the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing. And now I thought, well, that's fine by me because I'm abandoning the whole thing anyway. So like I say, we're moving towards haulage. We've got our van drivers, we don't need any more, we're cool. But if you are going to run other people, the best thing to do is be honest with them. So it's going to be me and someone else. They'll give you a different package. It will cost you more money, but in the long run, the accountancy, the actual sort of logging through and all that kind of stuff will make your life a lot easier, I think. Danny, I'll just ring and be honest with him. Say, I'm thinking of doing this. What do I do? Hopefully they'll help you out. Is it Baptil? It says, right. It says my mate's now. This flagged me a little bit. My mate's doing the CX, and he says he's constantly being undercut by Romanians. Does this happen a lot? My transport manager is Romanian. His name is Daniel, and he is lovely. I met him. He joined the CX because he saw my videos. And one day I turned up to a friend of mine's, Giuseppe's, up the road, and he turned up in his motor. I keep saying this. He turned up. He said, "I joined the CX because of you." And I went, "But you've got a shinier, newer, better motor than me." He had like a Mercedes Sprinter, curtain side, tail lift. He's got all the kit. Like I say, he's Romanian and he quotes more money than I do, and he wins because he's good and he's bang on it. The truth of the matter is, it's not a matter of nationality, it's not a matter of creed, it's not a matter of race, it's not a matter of whether you're a man or a woman. You're always going to get people on the CX that are quoting the wrong amount of price and the wrong price, and you're going to get the people that are quoting the right price. I call it the conveyor belt of fools. I've done a video about it. It'll probably pop up in the next week or so because I'm now banking up the videos because of the truck time. But so the question is, it's not, like I say, it's not a matter of nationality. It's a matter of there are people on the CX that will always quote cheap. That doesn't always win you the price. There are 3 things that will win you the price, and I can't believe that I've not done a video on this. So that one's coming soon. But the truth of the matter is any proper shipper is worth his salt will pay the right money. And the reason he'll pay the right money is because he will know that you quoted the right money. And the fact that you quoted the right money means you know what you're doing. That and a combination of other things. Watch your space. There we go. We're getting through. We're nearly there. Michael Robinson. Is it price per mile, the round trip or destination? As I said earlier on, no, we charge point to point. But you charge more because you charge point to point. There are other people out there that will say, well, we only quote this much a mile. They're quoting round trip. We charge point to point. And he said, particularly with a 1 day scenario, 1 day's not going to do you any favour. It's like people say, can I run on it part time? Not really, because you're going to get local and then you're going to go away and then you end up doing dead miles on the way back. It's not really a part-time thing. It can work, but I wouldn't advise it. And finally, on the miscellaneous, Sam Denny says, why are you not doing Instagram stories? Because I have no idea what they are. Presumably I should also be on Facebook, and I should be on LinkedIn, and I should be on Twitter, and I want none of these things because I just understand how the YouTube works and answer the comments, and I hope that you guys, you help me, I help you. The world becomes a wonderful place. So in conclusion, and we got a big conclusion today, Jason Burke says he's on the small vans. He says he fancies jumping a small van. He says, he wants to be an Uncle Albert. His beard is turning grey. Me and you both, my friend. During the war, son. During the war. There you go. Is that Gene Freak says, are you the infamous Pete whose name is on the Hermes packages? I have no idea. I abandoned Hermes a long time ago. Can't be bothered getting paid 25 quid for a 4-hour job. So, but no, I don't think so. Is the answer to that. Sorry, my friend. Shara Rose Raja says, apparently I'm quite famous in Pakistan. Thank you for sharing your experiences. My genuine pleasure. Hello to all my friends out in Pakistan. Thank you very much for watching the videos. As usual, always massively appreciated. On the Matt's Dilemma, Bob Keane says, he said he spotted Vincent the bear on top of the M6 toll road with a banner saying he sold me out for a big chested cushion. Vincent's still quite safe. He's sitting in a summer house in the Shedbury. He's minding it. We'll do a video soon. I'll get him to give you a wave, Bob. Don't worry. He's back. He's safe in the house. David Johnson says, I'm going to the doctor's. He's gone to have his wallet removed. I've had my glasses, my wife's glasses. I could do with Eric Morecambe. I am playing all the notes, not necessarily in the right order. Yeah, you can understand why he's on stage and not me. And finally, Steve Campbell said when he went for his drivers, because I had to go for my Class 2 exam, which fortunately I passed, 140 over 80 on the heartbeat. What was it? Sort of 80 on the blood pressure. I weigh 110 kilos, 17 and a bit stone. I'm 6'1", so it's not too bad. Do you smoke? No. Do you need glasses? No. How much do you drink a week? I said 40 units. I said, what's that? I said, I have a beer when I get in from work and 2 glasses of wine with my tea. He went, I'll just work that one out. Yeah, that's about 40 units. I said, well, it's probably more than I should drink. He went, at least you're being honest. Yeah, probably do 40 units on a Saturday. No, that's not true. It's a Saturday after all, it's 4 o'clock, I'm fine. Still, the night's still young. He said, anyway, so Steve Campbell said, when he went for his driver's medical, he said they thought he was pregnant. Well, you never know, my friend. If you can pull it off, could be a load of money in that. Sunny Q&A, done for another week. Guys, thanks very much. I have now, what have I done? I've got these things. These are interesting. This will come up on curtain sides. These are strapped down the load. Fresnel mirrors. Very handy for reading things in case my eyesight does go wrong. And Class 2 application. I'll let you know how it all goes. In the meantime, I hope you're all well. I hope you're doing it. It strikes me, we've started to get phone calls again on a Friday. People, have you got a van? Have you got a van? The jobs are clocking up on a Friday. Please God, we're through this. Please God, that no one died. And we got through this. And things will now start to escalate. And we can all, everybody can, take care, take money.